Come on, Rich, I don't want to be late. Hey.
So we are talking about The Summoning, written and directed by Alberto G. Rodriguez. Now, let's get one thing straight. There is no summoning in this movie. It's presented to you like a kind of haunting film. That's a minor part of this film, and if you take that haunting kind of stuff out of it, the plot remains largely unchanged. The story here focuses on this young girl, this young woman, and she ultimately becomes involved in this kind of like investigation of this sort of murders that have happened in the past, and weird stuff's kind of going around in her house, and it basically leads her to uncover this kind of like conspiracy that's been going on with prominent people in the community. Ultimately, add to that, you've got this police guy kind of sniffing around and trying to kind of like find out what's going on, and you got Eric Roberts, of course, Julie Roberts' half-brother are there as well as the kind of police captain, although he doesn't have a huge amount of screen time. So what do we think about The Summoning? Like I said, this is if you're watching this for a ghost film, you'll be thoroughly disappointed because it's really only a very minor part of this movie, and you'd only ever see a few shadows and stuff, which I did think were actually done fairly well. I'll give them that. But it's not really a ghost story. And like I said, you can kind of almost take it out and it just becomes like a crime episode of a TV show, if that makes sense. I mean, you can cut the kind of like the ghost bits out and it'd be like a 45-minute episode of some TV show about some murders. And that's really what it really feels like, this kind of cheap TV film. I've got to say as well, the plot just lost me, to be honest with you. It just seemed to jump all over the place, and you'll just spend time with people running around in warehouses, and the plot just seems to be just spinning its wheels in 1 minute for just like seemingly going nowhere, and then you'll just have like this kind of, oh yeah, this happened. I don't know, the plot was very kind of poorly paced. I will say a couple of things I did like. I did like the fact that when this girl first has a paranormal experience, the first thing she does is get out and calls the police. It's not something you normally see in films. It's normally that kind of the cliche that doesn't happen. I quite like this, and I also quite like there's kind of like her friend, if you like, the male, not male lead exactly, but she's got this male friend who is, a bit of obsessed with her. It's just a different dynamic that you normally see. Normally there's this kind of like, romantic interest, and he's basically this guy who is essentially her friend is just like this kind of like obsessed guy who really fancies her and is clearly in the friend zone. It's just a slightly different dynamic than you see in a lot of these films. The police stuff to me seemed massively drawn out. There's this whole subplot at the beginning of the film where the police has, he's under investigation for doing some killings where he should have been done. Literally irrelevant to the film. Literally has no bearing on the plot whatsoever. Don't even know why you have those scenes on there. It just seems to have maybe done them reshoots to pad the running time a little bit out. I do feel that, with the exception of one scene, Eric Roberts' scenes tend to feel like they're reshoots as well. But it's just, there's just not a lot to this film. It just seems a bit of a jumbled mess. There's a couple of neat ideas here and there, but ultimately the film is very unsatisfying. Definitely not a kind of like a haunting film like it kind of propagates on the cover, and even on that title, there's no summoning. There just happens to be a slight bit of paranormal activity going on in some of these sequences, but there's nothing. It's very light. I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 10. Very disappointing. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me comments, and I shall look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.